and the Babysitters Club, who I was also obsessed with at the time.
Now, I know a bit about the Babysitters Club because I read it from, I've got an 11-year-old and I read it to her for many, many months when she was, I don't know, maybe 6 till 9, something like that. So was that was an early inspiration for you, was it?
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons I loved it was because there was a character called Claudia, and she was Japanese American, and she was cool. She was like into art, and she
Claudia
wore her...
Kishi, wasn't it?
That's it.
Yeah,
You got
see,
it.
yeah.
And she used to wear her dad's like paint splattered shirts, and so I obviously got my dad's shirts and splotted paint on them to wear them to school.
She was cool, wasn't she?
She was very cool, yeah. And it was the first time I had seen a kid like me, even though she was Japanese American and I was Korean Kiwi, that I saw someone who looked a bit like me being a character in a book, and my brain just went dung dung.
Isn't it interesting? Because one of the characters is a type 1 diabetic. And I'm a type 1 diabetic, and I was reading this in my late 40s or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But to see, it really resonates when you see someone like you in a book, doesn't it?
It makes all the difference, I think. You know, I grew up not knowing. I'll tell you a story. At primary school, I had to write this writing project about my family, and I was so proud of it. I handed it in, and my teacher said, "Oh, this is a pretty good piece of writing, but I want to ask, why did you describe your family as being blonde and blue-eyed?" And I was very confused by the question. And she was like, "Because you do realize you are Korean. You are allowed to write your family as they are as Koreans." And I was like, "No, I'm not. Show me one book where the main character looked like me, and then I'll believe you." And she said, "If it doesn't exist yet, it just means someone hasn't done it yet." And I think what I realized is when you don't see yourself on the page, you internalize over time this idea that you're invisible and that you don't matter and that you don't have a voice. You're not worthy. And not only teaches you that, but it teaches everybody else that. And it's actually one of the reasons I started to write, because I wanted to be part of the change. I wanted for my daughter to be able to see herself on the page and know that she can be the hero of her own story, but also because everybody else deserves to experience the magic of walking in someone else's shoes. Did that answer your question? I can't remember what your question was about.
I can't remember what my question was either. I was fascinated in your answer.